All right. We we're starting a new thing. We've done a couple of episodes where we break down game film, and we're going to do this from time to time. It's going to be not everything that we're going to do, but it's going to be part of what we're going to do. Um, this particular game film that we're fixing to go over is some rec play between me and Ben Foster, and then John Toe and Diana Pham. Um, they're a really good, probably 4-0, somewhere between 4-0, 4-5. I think they compete at both levels. They're real scrappy, get a lot of balls back. And we're just going to go through some of these points and see if we can pick out a few things and see if we can get some folks thinking about some of the stuff they're doing on the court and maybe help you do some of it better. All right, this is the start of the game. One thing you're going to notice in this game is the defense of Diana and John and how they can turn a defensive situation back into an offensive situation. It happened right there in that first point. And also how much all four players ended up at the net into dink battles. So with that thought in mind, y'all just kind of watch as things go here. We're going to be slowing down some of this play and breaking it down. The good drives by John. All right, let's run that back. Ken, did you notice Diana found the ball in that point? All right, two good drives right here by John. I send it back. He drives it to Ben. Right here, Diana found the ball that we talk about a lot. And she put it in the kitchen twice and allowed them. Now, she set herself up there. You can run it back again, Bud, where we can look at it again. So after John's two drives, did you see how Diana took that one ball and reset it cross court? All right, two good drives by John. Second one bends back a little bit. Diana finds this ball right here, and she gets two good resets to set herself up. And I'll
Yeah,
pop the
but
ball.
even that last shot she takes, that shot was should have been another reset in my opinion. That ball
Well,
was below the net.
actually, though, Ken, I mean, I think I'm the one that made the mistake there. She hit two good resets cross court to me, and on the second one, we always talk about when they're trying to gain that line, you got to make the ball bounce in front of them, the other team. And I got it up a little high. I guess I thought she was going to stay back, and Diana come moving up, kind of had herself set up. Could she have reset that one and got them established at the line? Yeah,
Yeah.
um, that
To
would have been a
me,
that
to
would have
me,
been a
that's
good
a
cover.
ball you take out of the air. She take it out of the air, but just dink it back in. She tried to do, in my opinion, she tried to do too much with that last ball.
All right, let's move forward, Bud.
In a defensive position because of the lob. Once again, she throws it up a little high. They stay back. She's going to try to get a little lower, and here is where she gets that spot. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the reset, and they actually gain the point right there.
Yeah, that was a good reset
Very nice.
by her,
So they did
Diana.
a real good job with those two, and it's something that we can look at and gain from. Sometimes you're trying to throw up a couple of defensive shots just to keep yourself in the point, to try to find that ball that we talk about. And I mean, we it's 2-2, and especially Diana, she's found that ball several times
Yep.
to help get her and John um, to the line. We'll try to continue showing that, and me and Ben are doing a pretty good job of getting to the line ourselves,
You are.
also, because all four players are ending up the net. Go ahead and let her roll, Bud, on most of these points. All right, there's a drive from me.
And you know, he just went in the air with that one. Look at this.
All right. Let's run that one back, bud, and let's take it through slow. All right. This point here, I hit a drop. Me and Ben are working our way in. Ben hits it soft and puts some air under it. Now me and him are soft shots to get settled in to the kitchen. And
Diana,
now we're into our dink battle.
she made a nice cross court shot.
John's a little bit back right there, but he's so athletic, gets so many balls back. Let's see if they can get back up to the line. There's an attack, another attack, another attack. And then Ben finds the ball and kind of resets things for us. That's a good drive by John. If y'all notice, a lot of these dinks are going cross court. Some of them are going face up, but most of them are going cross court. A lot of the drops, too. That's a great drop by Ben right there. Two good drops. All right. All right, my serve, John's return. To me, the best shot in this point is coming up right here. Watch Ben. He gets air under it, and he goes cross court.
Mhm.
Allows me time to move in, and now Ben's coming. He had to execute his shot. Now he takes this one and gets, look at the air under that ball, how it's not flat. And now me and him are settled in at the line. And we're into our dink battle. Diana gets one up a little bit. Ben's able to attack. John pops it up, and then Ben attacks that one. But
Very
Ben
nice.
initiated all of that with that first good cross-court drop with a little bit of air under it. And let's continue to notice if our drops are going cross court. I've been trying to make this a focus of my game, trying to do it more. There's a drop drive into the middle, and then John rolls one over the net. All right, good serve by Ben. There's Ben going cross court again with air under it, giving us time to get to the line. And then John with the really good, he got it down to my backhand, made me look down, and he came in with an Ernie there. Ken, are you seeing a theme to this?
Well, I mean, I think of everybody, I think Diana's doing probably the best job
What about me,
of
Ken?
resetting the ball
What
in.
about me, Ken?
Well, I just felt like that's what kind of stuck out.
I'm
Um,
joking. No,
interesting though, and I got caught with this recently too. My last couple of days of playing, when they went cross court to you, either you were caught off balance and you just got the ball back over, but you set them up for an Ernie basically on that. I had the same thing happen to me.
well, damn.
Uh,
I don't want to talk about that, and that'd be a theme, Ken. I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I think that you're right, Diana. Him and her both, especially her, really good job of resetting. But the cross court drops coming from both teams are really instrumental in getting both teams to the net.
I agree.
So to me, and this is something me and Ken have been talking a good bit about, Vicky, when we go face up, straight up with more of our drops than cross court, we don't have as much time in general, over the course of 100 points.
Right.
So kind of, y'all kind of have that on y'all's mind as we continue watching this. That to me is a theme. See, there's a cross court drop. There's a cross court or middle drop. There's another cross court drop. She decides to go face up there. They finish getting to the line right here with a couple more shots. Squeeze on in. All right, Diana missed that one. You see the technique that they're using to get into that net. I'm going to run this one back, bud.
Very good.
All right. I'm gonna talk some. We can talk some more. Anybody can talk about this. But did y'all see how me and Ben lobbed a few of those shots up to keep ourselves in the point, and then we took that defensive situation and we flipped it around to offense. So right there, we get into some trouble with my bad shot. We're still in trouble. I just throw it up again. We're still in trouble. Ben throws it up. Notice how he throws it up in the middle. Now me and Ben are in a little bit better position to start looking for that ball. And look how every shot that we hit, we're putting air under it to give ourselves time to get in off of that baseline. Now we're in and put the pressure back on John and Diana. He tries a lob that goes out of bounds.
Well,
That's a pretty...
That really helped you guys out was that John came in a little shorter with that ball. That last
well, that
you were able to drop, he was shorter with that.
So yeah, and that's the point of it, Vicky, is when we're in trouble, a lot of times we try to hit our way out of that hard and flat. But on that particular point, when Ben and I got in trouble, we kept on throwing that ball up, getting air under it, getting it up in the air, trying to find that ball that you're talking about, Vicky, and we were finally able to find it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have a good chance to find that particular ball if you're now at any point you could try a third shot drive from back there, but they're probably going to bump it back at you. Then you're going to have to go with a drop from there. But so so far in this match, we've done it good a couple of times, a good job of turning defense into offense. And then John and Diana, that's just a staple for them. I mean, you think you got them, and they just keep getting balls back up and over. And it's one of the things that makes them a really tough team to play against.
Right. Okay, and what started that is his short return.
You want to go back and look at it, Vic?
Yeah, let's do that. Because you can see clearly with that short return that you guys were able to get in there.
Oh.
So see his short return. He's got a very short return, and Ben's got to come in to get it. But then he pops it straight on and gives you guys both the chance to put your paddles up because the next shot was high enough for you to put away.
I just want to make note on top of what Vicky said about this point right here, how Ben resists the urge to drive this low ball.
Right.
And lifts it up,
drop it
into the kitchen, allows me to come up to make those two plays that I made on the ball.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If Ben drives that low ball, a lot of times, a lot of bad stuff happens right there.
Yep.
And it's a short return. It's hard to resist wanting to drive that, but Ben did the right thing with that ball. And it took 2 or 3 shots down the road, but we were able to set up and run the point, win the point.
And that was kind of set up by that weak, really by the weak return. That started the whole thing.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely
Ben
right.
making a good choice on how to counteract the weak return.
Yeah, you're
the
absolutely
weak return
right.
wasn't high.
All right, let her roll, bud. So good. That's so good. That's so good by Diana right there.
Mm-hmm.
They took that off defensive situation, and her shot put them in position to do all of this stuff that they're doing right now.
Yep.
All right, let's run that one back, bud, and go in slow mo. All right, now
Right here.
pause it. Now look at the score, y'all. Me and Ben have been cross court dropping, getting to the line, doing our thing, built a nice lead, and it's 10-4-2, and I try a third shot lob, and you're gonna see when they get the ball back, we don't ever touch the ball again, and they win the game.
Oh my goodness.
It just goes to show how when you got something that's working, don't be an idiot and lose your mind and leave brain parts on the court. There was no sense in me doing that. And I told Ben that after this match was over with, especially against a dangerous team.
A team that's more than capable of working their way back, for sure.
No doubt. Because I mean, every even though it's 10-4 right now, every point is just you gotta craft your points to get there. This is the point, huh?
This is the point. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, so John steps in to handle it. Drive.
John with a good drive.
It's a bit of a pop up. Diana takes it, and here she goes.
Really soft. Look at the height under the ball. When I'm talking about air, y'all, this is what I'm talking about. Air under it again, and she goes cross court. Look how balanced she is. Here, air under it. She's getting it up and over. There's not flatness to those shots. Ben gets air.
You got to give it to Ben. That's a nice shot on his part, too.
No doubt. John gets the air under it, up and over. None of us can attack these balls. We can try to attack them, but it's not going to end well. Air under it from John. Ben can't attack that one. All right. He goes with a lob. And it goes out of bounds, which that wasn't a bad shot on his part. But so I guess what I'm wanting to say here to y'all is sometimes I think when I say put air under it, people think I mean just lob it up there, get it real high over the net. But I don't. This is what I was talking about with Maddie Scarfenstein, Vicky. Right. How in that match I watched her and Jody at Hallowell, she was the one of the 4 players on the court that got some loop to some of her shots. And it was all the difference in the world.
And she's real good at going to the middle and then sending you wide.
Oh, yeah.
Very good at it.
All right, let's run that back.
She really keeps the ball in play. She's not attacking anything that's not attackable. She does a good job of that.
And also, y'all, look at how many of those shots go cross court or back to the middle cross court. Mm-hmm. All right, this is another good point. And I want y'all to watch in this point how many times the ball goes cross court. I just went cross court. John drives it. John drives again. Now, John's driving those from down low. That's why me and Ben are able to keep attacking. He needs to try to get some more air under it, which he does right there.
And really, I mean, that second drive that John did from the transition, that would have been the ball for him just to lay it up.
Yes.
They kind of come out of this okay, but it wasn't the easiest of points. They're on the defense this whole time. And it really all started from him driving that second ball and then popping up the third.
Right. Now they're working their way back up. Cross court shots. Cross court from me. She's going to go back cross court.
John is kind of standing in that transition zone waiting. He maybe should have moved up a little
I'd
quicker,
like to
but
see
She's going to
John
go
come on
wide.
up
See,
to the
she goes to the
line.
middle.
yeah, yeah. John's hanging back a little bit.
See, she just took you from the middle and then went really wide.
Yeah. But
Of course,
everything from her, for the most part, is going cross court. She knows that's a more high percentage shot. Like to see them. Let's see if they can get squeezed back up to that line here.
Mm-hmm.
A
And
good
go a
press
little further
dink
back.
by John.
that
Ben
was a
did.
good drive by Ben. But yeah, Diane's got to get back up there. They
Yeah,
both are kind of a step off right now.
yeah.
You know,
Good
when
stop.
you're younger
Good
and a little
stop
more
it, Bud.
athletic, I think you can play a step back sometimes.
Well, it's kind of John's style. He gets a lot of balls back from there. But the point I'd like to make here is when you put that dink down or soft shot that you get that air under it, if you can get back up to that line, you're pressuring people up. If you hang back, they got more room to make the ball bounce in front of you. But another really good point with a lot of cross court stuff. You can keep letting it roll, bud. Cross court return by Ben. Drive by John. Now the comeback is in full swing after I
Sure is.
lost my mind
Close.
with my great idea of third shot lob on 10-4.
Oh,
Me and Ben kind of fighting over a ball there. There's Diana cross court with air under it. Look what it set up. 10-10. All right. Good drive by John. He hit an out ball, but he put it away. 11-10. And there you go. For me, watching Diana and John, it's like a clinic on playing good defensive pickleball and then turning it into offense.
She's very calm.
She is. She stays calm on the court. And
Yep.
I had told Ben at the beginning of this match, I said, Ben, because Ben, I don't think Ben had played them before. I said, Ben, all I can tell you on this one here is when you think you got to put away, realize you don't, because we're going to have to put it away 3, 4, 5 times on a lot of points. And that's what it is with those two. But they get air under their balls to give themselves a chance, when they're a little off balance, and they stay in points instead of hitting it too hard and too flat and ending points.
I know this wasn't a tournament where you would maybe call a timeout, but just curious, when that snowball effect started happening, did you and Ben talk at all about, what you were doing?
Yeah, we talked about how dumb I was.
I'm not talking about the obvious stuff. I'm talking about.
I was going to say that probably wasn't a lengthy conversation.
Yeah. No,
We didn't take long.
we did talk about it about midway. One of us might have said, "Hey, we should take time out" or something like that. But yeah, we all know how much of a momentum based game pickleball is, and if you got something that's working, I don't care what the score is, especially in a tournament. You better stick to the game plan. And I came off the game plan. I don't think I hit not one lob in that game except for when me and Ben were up 10-4, serving, game point on our paddle. I try a third shot lob. And I made sure and let Ben know after the game how that I was sorry I did that and how dumb it was. I don't think he realized it. But I knew that was the turning point, because when they got the ball back in their hand, him and her got to rolling. They made a few plays. Me and Ben made a few mistakes, and next thing you know, 10-4 turns into 12-10 them. Paddle tap. See you later. So stick to
yeah,
your
it'd
game,
be interesting to go
people.
back and see too a little bit of even some more changes than that beforehand versus after, before the lob and after the lob.
Yeah,
And, were more angle shots going from Ben to John versus battling Diana, who just seemed to, has such great touch
yeah,
on the ball. And would he have been the person to send more balls to?
yeah. Ken, it's interesting that you picked that out about John. The one thing, if I was coaching John and Diana, where they could really be helped is John needs to press up on that line more.
Mm-hmm.
Now he does a great job, him and her both, of when a ball gets high, but they get back off the line. But sometimes John is back when he could be up. Okay. And that all plays into what me and you have been talking about, that you've been doing a much better job of, is squeezing up on that line.
Yep. Yep.
Because when they get in that defensive mode, they get a lot of balls back, but it's easier for me and Ben if he's back. I'd love to see him because Diana does a better job than him when she gets that drop shot in and puts that air under it. Sometimes it might take him 2 shots to get in there, but I'd love to see him get on up on that line. I think they'll win even more points.
And
Not have
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, hold that thought, but just not have to be so defensive minded.
And one of the things we've been talking about doing more of now, they're both younger, relatively speaking, and can take that extra step when they need to get up to the line. But noticed how few balls were taken out of the air and dinked back over. Right, we're talking about being able to lean in and take that dink out of the air and send it back. You're sending it back quicker than the person is expecting it, and we
Right,
didn't see many of that because at times they were a step off of that no volley zone.
right. Well, and then all four players I thought did a fairly decent job too of taking volleys out of the air and getting a little bit of air on it, kind of resetting it instead of taking and just whacking away at that ball,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and just keeping it in play. If it's up shoulder height, that's a totally different ball to me. That's
Right.
one that you come out of your shoes on that ball shoulder height or higher and you miss it, you just missed it. But if those volleys are down below that net and you're swinging at them too much and you have too many errors in that, then you need to catch that ball on your paddle and just kind of curl it up, get some air under it, and keep yourself in the point.
Right. Right.
I don't know the shot length of those rallies, but in general they were fairly long. Some really good long rallies. Just a fun match to be a part of.
Yeah, that was a great comeback, and they
Yeah,
stayed
thanks, Ken.
calm. You
Thanks,
know what?
Ken,
They
for
stayed
reminding me.
calm at 410 serving, and didn't try anything different. They just kept playing their game. So I
Yeah,
think that's the key point.
yeah. And they rolled. I mean, that was what, six? That was 8 straight points all the way to
If
12.
anything, it looked like when they were starting to come back that Jeff and Ben were, I don't say panicking, but like that ball you took, that ball you came all the way over where Ben was and took a forehand, and it was almost like you guys were starting to try to kind of, you were in a little bit of an uncomfortable state trying to
Right.
We
stop.
felt it.
Hmm.
That's the thing in a comeback like that. They were down 10-4. Once they get it to about 10-6, that's only 2 points. But you start feeling somebody when they
That's
got
right.
a little momentum. Then all of a sudden it's 10-7, 10-8. Now you really got to be careful not to do stuff out of character. And we did. Me and Ben made several mistakes, that would fuel their comeback, and they just remained steady and pull the comeback out. So again, fun match.
Yeah, it was good play by everybody, really.
Good play. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, we just really want to say thank you to all four players for allowing us to do this. It was a fun match to watch and so many good things going on. It's not always easy to let people analyze your game and your play, but I think everybody can say we learned a lot by watching today and analyzing some points. So it's a lot of fun to do it, but it's also a good learning experience to do it. So thank you for letting us do this.